Warning, this video contains team selection and captain choices which some viewers may find offensive.
Hey guys, and welcome back to FPL TV. Before looking to the upcoming double game week 20, let's first look back to the double game week 19 and see how things went there. I guess the main talking point of my game week 19 was that I ended up utilising the bench boost chip last week, which was a plan I had discussed in my previous team video. Look, the majority of my bench did blank, with both Konsa and Perraud both starting, but sadly both conceding in those favourable home games against Wolves and Forest respectively. Both Wolves and Forest were the two lowest scoring teams in the league heading into those games, so there was certainly reasoning and thinking into why I included those two players for those two home games where clean sheets did look a good possibility, but sadly it wasn't to be. The other player that I'd have likely benched had I not used the chip was Almiron 2, who also blanked, but who knows. Had I not played the chip, maybe I'd have played the likes of Konsa or Perraud over Trippier, who was away to Arsenal, and could have lost out on points there, as he managed to return once again despite having a tough trip away to the league leaders. It wasn't all doom and gloom though, because on the other hand, I also had Bernd on the bench boost, who made a monster 15 saves over the two games, picked up 3 bonus points and a clean sheet. His 14-pointer double-digit haul salvaged my bench boost chip single-handedly and took this season's bench boost score to 19. Granted, 19 points is nothing out of this world, but that's certainly beyond the threshold that I'd have taken before using the chip. If we consider 30 points being excellent, 20 points being good and 10 being bad, I think 19 is a respectable result for the bench boost this season, and that Leno 14-pointer certainly gave it some vindication. So, thanks to Leno's heroics, the extra 19 points from the bench boost took my game week 19 total to 79 points. And of course, with that, a very healthy green arrow from 1.2 million up to 718k, a rise of 500,000 places. Let's move on to game week 20 now, and look at my confirmed transfers and team lineup. So, game week 20 was always going to be a wait and see for me, and that was for many reasons. Not only did we have lots of cup games to contend with, but I also had 4 players featuring in that Chelsea-Fulham fixture yesterday. So I decided to zone out, take any price drops on the chin, and see the situation at the very end of the game week. To be honest, with the bench boost now out of the way, there were some strong considerations to wildcard this week, readjust the deadwood from my bench, whilst also fixing a few growing issues in my squad. The main issues being the Darwin injury news, Cancelo looking to be out of favour for this upcoming double, as well as Chelsea players Mount and Kepa, who, despite having a decent home fixture against Palace up next, aren't assets I'm particularly keen to own for much longer. For the longer term, I'm also very much interested in Brighton assets, as well as very much needing some Arsenal coverage, with both teams offering excellent value as well as excellent long-term fixtures. So I did like the idea of wildcarding, getting things in place and setting up for those. The only reason I'm not going to wildcard this week though, is because for this game week 20 in particular, I've already got a fairly decent team for this week, particularly with the likes of Shaw, Rashford and De Bruyne all in place, as well as double Newcastle at home to Fulham. So even though my team isn't perfect this week, considering as though there's still so much up in the air regarding future double game weeks, I chose to hold on to it just for now, and I haven't ruled out using it next week or maybe in game week 22 during the break. The fact that Arsenal have Tottenham and United still to play in the next 2 games before their good run of fixtures also played a part. In terms of fixing some of these issues with transfers this week, the obvious -4 hit I was looking at would have been to downgrade Cancelo and upgrade the injured Darwin Núñez to Harry Kane who doubles. However, going forward, I'm not particularly keen on a 3 premium structure, and I don't really like Tottenham's short-term fixtures either, despite Kane being no doubt an excellent pick and so consistent this season. At this point in time, I'm also very unconvinced about any Cancelo replacements, so I think I'll take another week to see how these games play out first, before deciding if and who to replace him with. Who knows, for this double game week maybe he'll start one of the 2 fixtures. For that reason, because I'm not fully convinced about a Cancelo replacement this week, I've decided to keep it simple, with Darwin Núñez going out and Ivan Toney coming in for 1 free transfer at home to Bournemouth. Granted, no double game week fixture, but still a very nice fixture on paper, with Thomas Frank confirming in his press conference that Toney is fit and ready to start this game. Toney may not be a long-term option, especially with this potential ban hanging over his head, but over the short term, over the next 3 games, I really like the look of his fixtures, so he could be a decent differential. Don't get me wrong, I don't like the idea of still owning Mount and Kepa this game week, but it is a decent home fixture against Palace who aren't in the best of form, so I'm going to avoid taking a hit. Admittedly, I really wanted to upgrade Mount to Bruno Fernandes for a -4 this week, but was sadly 0.3 million away from the move. I even tried to replace Darwin Núñez with Callum Wilson instead, and if I did that, I'd have still been 0.1 million off Mount to Bruno Fernandes, so as much as I wanted Bruno, I couldn't quite squeeze him in. Who knows, with hits flying around elsewhere from many managers this game week, maybe avoiding a hit can give me a little head start in the game week. For the captaincy this week, obviously with another double game week, some very appealing options on offer, especially considering the form that Marcus Rashford is in at the moment. For me personally though, I've not really been close to taking it off Haaland for his double game week this week. Granted, his fixtures on paper this week may not look particularly favourable, however you could argue that given the nature of these big games gives more assurances to Haaland's security on minutes, and that I do like, even more so considering his rest in the League Cup, and more importantly than anything, notably no midweek European fixture to contend with in between. Of course, given this reasoning, considering the fact that there's 5 days between his two fixtures and he looks very likely to play significant minutes over the two games, I've certainly considered utilising the triple captainship on the Norwegian here, and can certainly understand the reasoning why some managers will be using it this week. However, for me personally, considering City just haven't quite been at it so far since the restart, and given the fixtures aren't the best on paper, I don't think I'm feeling it and will likely save the triple captainship. So that's my team reveal for Game Week 20. Good luck to you all for the upcoming game week, FPL responsibly, and I'll catch you all very soon.